I'm Bob Scott. I'm a candidate for U.S. Representative from the 2nd Congressional District in Tennessee. And when I tell people what I'm running for, and the light dawns in their eyes, they say, "Oh, John Duncan's seat." And well, they might. John Duncan Sr. and John Duncan Jr. have held that seat for 43 years. And a lot of people don't even know of any other person that's ever held that U.S. Representative job. But it isn't John Duncan's seat. It belongs to whoever the voters elect in November. And I'm asking for you to consider me as a candidate for the U.S. Representative. From where I'm standing, in the wintertime, you can see the mountains. But in the summertime, the haze blocks them out completely. Right out through there is Kleeman's Dome, but you won't be able to see it for another 6 months. We need to address our environmental problems and move forward on environment as well as energy problems in our country. What are the qualifications for a U.S. representative? Well, it's probably the easiest job in the whole world, sort of tongue-in-cheek perhaps, but how many jobs do you know of where the people that have the job never get fired? They keep saying the job over and over, even when they don't do a good job. But, of course, there are a number of important things that U.S. representatives do. First thing to do is organize the House of Representatives after the elections. I will vote to organize the House of Representatives with the Democrats. The Republicans have had the control of the U.S. House for a long time. They lost control a few years ago, but they did a very poor job. And I think it's important that the Democrats continue to control the House of Representatives and increase their margin. Another important thing that U.S. representatives do is constituent service. That's not in the Constitution, it's not part of the job originally, but it's something that all of them do, and it's something that's important. They help people that have problems with the federal government. As a result, people feel like they have done favors for them, and they get reelected. It helps them get reelected. This is Dewey Batson. Dewey is a retired registrar from Pellissippi State Technical Community College. And Dewey is my idea of a very good administrator. He's always very good about helping people when they have problems. I'm running for U.S. representative, and one of the important things for a U.S. representative is constituent service. That is helping out constituents that have a problem with the government. I think probably you, more than anyone else, could judge how well or how energetically I would work on helping people that had trouble, constituents had trouble with the government.
Well, Bob would do well. He would help anybody who needed his help. He always helped all his students if they were in need of additional courses. Outside of regular class hours, if they needed overtime work or evening work or after class work, he was always there to help them out. He was a good man. He was a good administrator. And I would loyally support him for whatever position he wants to take. He'll do a darn good job.
I remember saying one time to the faculty, one thing's never changed. Bob Scott has never gotten his grades in on time. Constituent service is something that I would think was very important, and I would concentrate on doing a good job if I'm elected. Proposing laws is one of the important things U.S. representatives do. And I have got a lot of new ideas on things that need to be done, that should be done, and I'm very interested in proposing those and seeing if I can get some of them passed. Congressman Duncan has some interesting thoughts in his newsletter, things that he'd like to do. One of them is replace the Federal Reserve System by taking our country back to the gold standard. Most countries in the world used to be on the gold standard, and all of them have gotten off of it. It's a very poor idea. Another poor idea that Congressman Duncan has is replace all the taxes we have with the federal sales tax. He says 21%. And there are a lot of people that think that's important, and I think that's a good idea. But if you think about it, what it really does is shift the tax burden from people with high incomes to people with middle incomes. Many people with high incomes pay more than 21% of their income in taxes. If they're paying taxes by 21% sales tax, they will not pay as much money in taxes. And if this tax proposal is revenue neutral, that is, it collects as much money as the current tax system does, then who's going to pay the taxes that the high-income people don't pay? It makes a lot of sense. And it's hard for me to believe that Congressman Duncan really takes this seriously. One of the laws that I think we need is to pass or set up a central medical record system. As it is now, we go to several doctors. You may go to 10 or 15 doctors in your lifetime. All those records are kept separately. When a doctor retires in a few years, they discard the records. If you want to go back and get a comprehensive medical history yourself, there's no way you can do it. And so I believe that nowadays, with computers available, we can have a comprehensive medical record system nationwide that will keep much better records than we have now, and also will take a big burden off the doctors and so they don't have to keep such expensive record systems. So I would like to propose that law and see if I can get it passed. Healthcare is a big problem in the United States. There are a lot of people that aren't covered at all. I personally am on Medicare. I find it to be a very good system, and I would like to see the same sort of a system for everyone. I'm confident that our country can work out the cost. I am a little concerned about it. It doesn't seem to pay the doctors as much as they need to get paid for some of the things that they do. I talked to a physician about this. He agreed that Medicare was a good program, but it needed to pay a little more. And he told me John Duncan voted to not allow Medicare to pay more to physicians. Well, that might seem like you're saving money, but if you don't pay the physicians enough, then they won't accept Medicare patients, and so that the Medicare system won't work. And so you need to pay them enough, pay them what they're worth. And Congressman Duncan, by refusing to pay, is undermining the Medicare program. And as I say, it's a good program. I would like to see it expanded. I'm a manufacturing person, and it bothers me to see us the United States losing our manufacturing capabilities. We make our manufacturing organizations pay minimum wage. We make them pay Medicare, Social Security. We make them pay workman's compensation. We make them clean the environment. We make them be good citizens, and then we allow people to import goods made by manufacturers who pay several dollars a day and mess up their environment and compete with them. We need to put our manufacturers and imports on a level playing field. And so I would propose a tariff on anything brought into this country where the manufacturing costs are artificially low because the foreign manufacturers don't meet our standards. Another thing congressmen do is work on committees. That's where they gather information and learn about what the different laws would do. They hear from different constituents and different people, different interests. Working on committees is something that I really am good at. It's something I like to do. I've worked on committees all my life and all my career, and this is to me, that's one of my strong points, and I would do very well in that kind of thing. Another thing that congressmen do, fairly rarely fortunately, is impeach federal officials. If I were elected, I would use the best interest. I'd be fair, not political, and do what's in the best interest of the country. I was very disappointed that Congressman Duncan and the Republicans tried to impeach President Bill Clinton. They knew good and well that they could not get him out of the office. In fact, if they thought they could have gotten him out of office, they wouldn't have impeached him, because they would not have wanted Al Gore to be president during the next election. What they should have done was insist on a censure motion that the Democrats and the Republicans could have agreed on, and it would have expressed their opinion. It would have been positive. As it was, They went through a charade of trying to impeach Bill Clinton, knowing good and well that it was going to fail. It was just a political thing to embarrass him. And our Congressman Duncan voted to impeach him on all three counts. Very few of the congressmen voted that way. Voting on laws is what the Constitution has the House of Representatives doing, and it's very important. Voting on laws, however, is not always what it seems. A lot of laws that are up for vote have a good thing, something good in them, and something bad in them, and you have to balance the good and the bad. But I would always do what I think was in the best interest of the United States and East Tennessee in deciding what to vote, and I always would listen to people on both sides of the issues to decide what to do. Another thing that congressmen do is ceremonial appearances, and while I will never make a living as a after-dinner speaker, I do enjoy informing people, and I do enjoy meeting people and talking, making talks, and trying to do a good job as a representative. I was over at Shenandoah Assisted Living, sitting with my mother and her friends, and it came up that I was running for U.S. representative. And one little lady says, "I won't vote for you. I love Jimmy Duncan." And another one said, "I'll vote for you." So the first one said to the second, "Don't you like Jimmy Duncan?" And the second one said, "No. He's been there too long and he has no new ideas." And those two little ladies pretty much summarized my campaign.
When Bob was just learned to drive, he took a bunch of his friends out early one morning to Imes Nature Park for a hike, and on the way, it was a rainy morning, he skidded into somebody parked there on the street. The policeman called me the next day. He said, "This is the first time I've ever made a call like this, but when I talked with your son, the first thing he said was, I was going too fast for a rainy day, and my wheels got stuck into the streetcar track. It was my fault." He said, "Miss Scott, I've never heard those words from a teenager before, and it made such an impression on me that I looked your number up, and I'm calling to tell you that."
I think
And his children are
I
the same.
think my brother Bob would make a wonderful representative. He is honest. He is very thoughtful of others. He has a lot of integrity. I think he would do a great job. If I lived here, I'd vote
Did you
for
say,
him.
I have been asked to share with you all why I feel like that my husband, Bob Scott, would make a wonderful representative. We've been married 47 years, and I have to say, and I must say, that he has been very dependable and loyal to his family, his home. He's a wonderful husband. He's been a wonderful father and a son and a granddad for his grandchildren, and I just really appreciate him. He's very knowledgeable. I'd say that if you were to ask him a question and he couldn't answer it, he would go and search it out and give an answer. He's just very inquisitive, and he wants answers, and he will get them. He's a thinker. He's got a sense of humor. There are times that he will come up with something very funny, and you just have to stop and just laugh, and it kind of relaxes you. Laughter is a good medicine. He's a hard worker, and he will be serious, very serious with the job. If you were to elect him as your representative, I guarantee he will do his job, and he will take it very seriously. I highly recommend him.
And he has a wonderful wife. I appreciate you watching this presentation. I'm in an election contest with an opponent that's very well financed, and I'm not. But I don't believe that money should determine who gets to be in office. What I'm asking is that you, the viewer, give me an honest evaluation. I suggest that you go to my website, and it's bobscottforcongress.com, and evaluate how I've written, or what I've written about different issues. If you go to the website, you can get a good idea of how I feel about things, of how I think about things. It's bobscottforcongress.com. I have a lot of faith in informed voters. I haven't got much faith in uninformed voters. And I would really appreciate your honest and diligent consideration of who should be the U.S. representative from the 2nd District in November. Thanks.